introduction of petrol subsidy. Tribunal dismisses Rivers APC SDP Accord petitions against PDP. Alliance of PDP's Nyesom Wike with President Tinubu continues to stir comments. President Tinubu appoints more people into his media advisory team. Federal government sets timeline for home delivery of passports. On the foreign scene, Israel Prime Minister warns Gaza action only just begun as Hamas threatens hostages. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Ifeyemi Andrew. The NNPC Limited has denied the reintroduction of petrol subsidy. This is as many filling stations close nationwide due to various challenges in the downstream oil sector. The Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, told State House correspondents after an audience with the President at the Aso Rock Villa yesterday that petrol subsidy has not been returned.
There is no subsidy whatsoever. We are recovering our full cost from the products that we import. We sell to the market. We understand why the marketers are unable to import. We hope that they do this very quick, and this is some of the intervention government is doing. There is no subsidy.
The Group Chief Executive Officer also said that the pockets of queues observed by motorists in petrol stations across the country stemmed from hiccups in product distribution from the south to the north, not a lack of supply. Mr. Kyari said the NNPC Limited would have gone bankrupt in June this year had President Bola Tinubu not halted petrol subsidy in May. Mr. Kyari's comments came barely 48 hours after the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria confirmed the return of petrol subsidy. Also, oil marketers repeatedly stated that petrol subsidy had returned as they explained that the landing cost of petrol as of last week was 720 naira per litre. The commodity is currently sold at between 580 and 617 naira per litre, depending on the area of purchase. Moving on, the Rivers State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja has dismissed the petition of the APC candidate for Gokana Federal Constituency, Eric Nwibani, against Dumnamene Dekor of the PDP. Also dismissed were two other petitions filed against Mr. Deko by Neko Paul of the Accord Party and Friday Nkeye of the SDP. Reacting to this, APC candidate for Gokana Federal Constituency, Eric Nwibani, tells correspondent Martha Okere that he is yet to get the true copies of the judgment. He, however, spoke on why his petition was dismissed.
The details will be contained in the judgment. We'll see them in detail. And one of what they talked about is that the withdrawal of the APC from the petition makes Eric Nwibani an independent candidate. We're also aware that the law allows either the candidate or the party to approach the tribunal. And in our own case, I'm the first petitioner in that matter. The APC is the second petitioner. So the withdrawal of the second petitioner does not imply the withdrawal of the first petition. So my petition still stands.
The SDP candidate for Gokana Federal Constituency, Friday Nke, also spoke to our correspondent. He said the electorates will be consulted on what steps to take next.
In our case, we didn't say there was no election in Gokana Federal Constituency. We only said there was irregularities in some walls and some units of the constituency. And those were the areas we tendered evidence and brought in witnesses. We are not worried because they have done their job, but we are happy that we are able to sustain our petition. You see, when you have a petition and there was objection to certain sections of the petition and the tribunal sustained those sections of the petition or the paragraphs, it means the petition has merit. And so coming back to rule against the same petition that has merit is something to think about.
In another development, a spokesperson for a faction of the APC in Rivers State, Eyinda Chike, says former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike's alliance with President Bola Tinubu has not weakened the party. His comments come after several Rivers APC leaders from the two factions in the state visited the party's national chairman Abdullahi Ganduje in Abuja in a bid to rebuild the party after the general elections. Mr. Chike, in an interview with our correspondent, spoke on the validity of the visit by his faction.
That his appointment has nothing to do with APC's Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have access to the president. We have access to the national chairman. And if we pass through the minister, which constitution have we violated to reward service? The president of Nigeria rewarded service. And you can imagine the theory that a president will win in a state from a party A, and that party A did not win one single seat.
Mr. Chike, however, said those claiming that there is a faction in the APC in the state are party members who are yet to align with the presidency.
We are in post-election politics. APC have nothing to showcase in Rivers State. There are allegiance of those who felt they will not be obedient to the national. And there are those school of thought who said we must align to reap what we have in the national. So that is what those who are not in the mainstream are seeing as there is a faction. APC doesn't have a faction as people are trying to claim. A visit to the national chairman from the state council, he went on his capacity.
Staying with politics, the leadership of the PDP in Omademe and Ipo Ward 10 in Ikure local government area say it has endorsed Charles Wobodo as its preferred chairmanship candidate for Ikure local government area in the 2024 local government area election. Chairman of PDP in Omademe Ipo Ward 10, Cyprian Amadi Wali, while addressing newsmen shortly after their ward meeting, said the choice of Mr. Wobodo is to ensure consolidation in the achievement of Dr. Samuel Wanosike. He said they believed that Mr. Wobodo, if given the opportunity, would ensure the dividend of democracy in the entire wards of the local government.
The stakeholders and the leadership of the People's Democratic Party have adopted Honorable Charles Wobodo as our candidate for the forthcoming local government election. They have worked very well since the inception of this administration. They have been working. Oman have not been elected in any elected position in local government. So that's why we deem it necessary to call him to run for the position of the chairmanship. He's our sole candidate. And if he answers the call, we will continue from where someone wants to has stopped. We will continue there to see that all the various communities will benefit from this gift of democracy.
Elsewhere, the Rivers State Coordinator of Transition Monitoring Group, Nathaniel Akbos, says the plan by INEC to manually transmit results of the November 11 Bayelsa governorship election will obstruct the electoral process. Recall that the Bayelsa State INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner Obo Efanga said last Wednesday that the commission plans to manually transmit results in the coming elections. Mr. Akbos spoke to correspondent Sebi Owari on this.
It is unfortunate that the resident electoral commissioner of Bayelsa State would dare to say that results in the forthcoming elections in Bayelsa State will be transmitted manually. This statement by the resident electoral commissioner is only finding its root in the Court of Appeal judgment recently delivered by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. This new position of INEC will do nothing more than preparing the graveside of the 2022 Electoral Act.
Mr. Akbos said the confidence of Nigerians on electoral processes will be reduced if INEC transmits results manually.
We are all working towards the dark days of electoral malpractice, ballot stuffing, snatching, and violence, which characterize our electoral processes over time and in history. As observers, we call on the chairman of INEC to redirect his commissioners so as to build confidence in the electoral process. The effect of the 2022 Electoral Act has so far not been seen, as all its new innovations are being jettisoned by the electoral umpire.
On his part, a former INEC resident electoral commissioner, Barito Bagi, called on INEC to explain to Nigerians why it plans to transmit election results manually in the November 11 Bayelsa governorship election.
By the announcement, they've gone back fully to manual everything. So what was it that informed that earlier decision, and what is it that has led them to turn away from that completely after they used expenditure, time wasted in the National Assembly to amend the law? Our expectation was that with the improvement in the electoral process, IRF and the electronic transmission of results, that it should reduce the human factor we had with the manual process of election that brought about that improvement in the law, even their own guidelines.
Still to come, federal government sets timeline for home delivery of passports. Stay tuned.
Public announcement. The Royal Majesty of Apara Kingdom, Anyeweli Ekenibo, Eze Chike
Some of the students and teachers we spoke with correspondent Onyekachi Wonsu complained of a lack of chairs and desks, roofs, and learning materials, among other things. They said the school premises have been taken over by grasses and hoodlums.
Government are not taking after our schools. No, all our boys have removed the zincs. When we are learning rainfalls, we get beaten by the rain and so on. No teachers, no chairs. The school just like tattered, grass everywhere.
The place has been a place of hideout for the woolons. When rain falls, it will fall on them. So we are calling on the River State government to come and do something about it. The place is not conducive for learning. Please come and help the people of John Krama to renovate this school and also fix in security.
The condition of John Grammar School is a sad one because everything has just been worn out. The teaching condition too is not suitable.
It is quite unfortunate that in 21st century and of course in a community in Niger Delta, our children will be learning in this unconducive environment.
Also, one of the pioneer students of the school, Eniata Abieba, spoke about the glory days of the school and what led to its deplorable state.
The school grew in strength, and at a point, it was even the largest in River State in terms of population. I do know that we won in a quiz contest at the state level. At the national level, we won the second position. It was a very good school. Sorry to say that the environment of the school is highly isolated, and I know that there were also vandals that vandalized the school. But all the same, there are some structures that are bad today that are not in the cause of the vandals. So today, the school is almost completely in the origin of.
Our correspondent reports that many of the classrooms have no roof. The school premises have been overtaken by bushes and floods anytime it rains, and students sit on the floor while learning. John Krama Grammar School, formerly known as Government Secondary School John Krama, was established in 1973. As you may know, John Krama's community in Auda West is home to several oil wells operated by multinational companies. Also, our correspondent visited the recently rehabilitated government secondary school in Eneka, Obiakwa local government area of Rivers State, and observed that work is still ongoing at the new computer building with minor electrical fittings, and some of the classroom blocks were painted, while new blocks like the assembly hall, staff lodge, boarding complex, and admin building were newly constructed. However, students are still using their old chairs and desks for learning. Attempts to speak with the head teachers of both senior and junior secondary schools were unsuccessful. As you may know, the government secondary school Eneka was formerly a day school but was converted to a boarding school after its rehabilitation by the Rivers State government. The school was scheduled for commissioning on the 9th of September as part of activities lined up to mark Governor Siminalayi Fubara's 100 days in office. No official reason has been given for the cancellation of the commissioning. The federal government says Nigerians will have their passports delivered to them at home, offices, and other places of choice beginning next year. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo said this on Monday in Lagos while speaking at the opening ceremony of the 2023 University of Lagos application, as the ministry has started automating the process. The minister also said the integrity of travel documents would be restored via data harmonization. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of a journalist, Linda Akigbe, and a one-time presidential candidate, Fela Durotoye, as members of the Media and Publicity Directorate. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, disclosed this in a statement on Monday. Mr. Durotoye, who contested under the Alliance for New Nigeria Party in 2019, was appointed as the senior special assistant to the president on national values and social justice. Others appointed to the Presidential Media Advisory Team are Frederick Nwambufo, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Engagement; Mrs. Akigbe, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Engagement; Aliyu Audu, Special Assistant to the President on Public Affairs; Francis Ada Abba, Personal Assistant to the President on Special Duties. Mr. Ngelale said that President Tinubu has further approved the secondment of Mrs. Akigbe to serve as the Communications Advisor to the President of the ECOWAS Commission.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned that the country will use enormous force against the Hamas militant group. He says the Israel Defense Forces retaliation for the worst attack on Israeli soil in decades has only just begun. About 900 people have died in Israel since Saturday's surprise attack, including 260 people massacred by Hamas gunmen at a music festival.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, you heard that the NNPC has denied the reintroduction of petrol subsidy. Tribunal has dismissed Rivers APC, SDP and Accord petitions against PDP. Alliance of PDP's Nyesom Wike with President Tinubu has continued to stir comments. President Tinubu has appointed more people into his media advisory team. The federal government has set a timeline for home delivery of passports. On the foreign scene, Israel Prime Minister has warned Gaza action would only be just the beginning as Hamas threatens hostages. The news was edited by Choma Ezenwafo. Cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this morning. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. My name is Ifeyemi Andrew. Good morning.
You are tuned